LootBet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join LootBet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.
Hello, welcome back to StarSeries I-League Season 4. We are going into our second match of today. It will be the 1-1 game. Of course, I almost wanted to say elimination, but I was like, no, it's not elimination. TyLoo beat Fnatic yesterday and came through. Heroic as well, managing to win their match. And yeah, we're going to be having these two face off. It is the revenge of, well, either TyLoo on their coach or the coach on TyLoo. It depends which way you look at it. I actually did speak to him briefly myself yesterday, and he actually said there's no bad blood between him and the players. It's actually just the org that he doesn't get on too well with. But other than that, I think he said he enjoys still saying hello to the guys and having a little bit of a chat with them. The one thing that he does have, though, is knowledge of pretty much everything they're going to be doing and all the maps.
Because he was the one who created all of, or helped create all of that, right, within this team. And I doubt they've been able to change too much since he departed, given that it wasn't that long ago. And, you know, I mean, that's going to cause some complications. But maybe we'll hear a bit more about all that
from him.
We have a video with Heroic.
Hi guys, I'm here with Luis, also known as Peacemaker, the coach of Heroic. Now, you're currently 1-1 in our Swiss format, best of 3. Give us a rundown of your matches so far.
Well, we had a rough start against Cloud9. It was not what we expected, but to be honest, they're playing really good right now as a team. They just won the major, so yeah, it was just, we had an off day. Then yesterday was much better against Erasers. We prepared well enough, and it was actually pretty good to beat them, because in the past, Heroic had a struggle to be able to beat them, especially on Cobble. So yeah, it was really good to give us a boost of confidence, and yeah, we were feeling good right now.
Has it been important for you as the coach to make Rubino feel comfortable and sort of integrated within the team?
Yeah, it was very important. At first place, it's hard for him because we lack practice right now. And also, role-wise, he's a different player than EasyTag. So I can imagine how hard it is for him, but we're trying our best to just make him as comfortable as possible within our strats and the way we play. And yesterday went much better, and hope we can perform today as well.
Yeah, and talking about today, your opponents are going to be TyLoo, who yesterday beat Fnatic. So tell me what you think about them.
Well, TyLoo is the type of team that they already proved before that they can upset anyone when they're hitting their shots, and they're really talented players. So obviously, I was surprised about it, especially because Fnatic is also super talented and super skilled. But I don't know if it was a matter of them just hitting their shots and maybe Fnatic kind of, not maybe being predictable or maybe not expecting them to be this good. But yeah, I can speak for us. Like, we will be 100% prepared, and we will respect those guys because we know what they're capable of, especially because I coached them. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting match for sure.
That is quickly a final point that I should touch upon. Of course, you were coaching them as of most recent before Heroic. So has that fed into any sort of tactics or information you have on the team?
Obviously, I know how they play and I know the things they like to do. But for this team right now, we feel like we are a better team than TyLoo. So we're gonna just try to stick to our own game and just do what we usually do. Because sometimes when you overthink too much, then you end up feeling pressured. Or if things goes wrong, then you might overthink situations when we can just play our own game and we should be able to beat them. That's what we're going to do today.
All right, well, Luis, I'm excited to see how the match goes. Best of luck.
Yeah, an interesting sort of insight there from Peacemaker. He said it himself, like when TyLoo are hitting their shots, they really can just sort of take on anyone. They can upset anyone. And so that's what I'm sort of looking for today. Obviously, in terms of map vetoes, I think that he is definitely going to have the read on what his old team likes to play. Like we sort of heard him earlier just going that, we know that they like to play Inferno, maybe expecting something like Cobble just because of how well they did yesterday versus Fnatic on that map. But yeah, I'll be interested to see if they do try to like counter Heroic in any way, like maybe play the mind games with their own coach. That would be good. Although, then again, a lot of the time I feel like some of this stuff in that previous team might have been lost in communication anyway. Another thing, though, that again, speaking to a Peacemaker yesterday, was he was saying like the addition of Rubino, like as an initial thing, is going to be difficult because in Astralis, like we saw him jump into Astralis, do relatively well, but he said that in that team he feels like not that the strategies are basic, but they're a little bit more standard. Whereas from Snappy's role as an in-game leader, he likes to have everything prepared. He likes to have everybody knowing exactly what smokes, everything they're going to be throwing, all of their strategies well in advance. So when they've only been working with a player a week or two, that becomes very, very difficult for Rubino just to sort of slot in and just already know exactly what he should be doing in this team. We sort of saw that on the first day where he definitely looked out of place. Second day, not so much. He managed to slot in. Obviously, not quite as tough an opponent as the major champions. It's quite difficult to find one that is, but it's worth noting that probably in this matchup, okay, it's going to be a bit more free roam from TyLoo. We see a lot of sort of aggressive plays from them, but at the same time, Rubino should have a little bit more time to sort of build into the game, whereas I feel like being thrown in a Cloud9 is probably the deepest end of the deep end. Like, he was pretty much just thrown into the middle of the ocean and be like, float.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true, Tom. Although floating in the ocean for a bit isn't too hard.
Is your voice just like dead?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that. I'm excited for this one though, Tom. You know, we've seen both of these, both these teams currently 1-1. It's always good to see. Of course, we had Heroic be able to win out over Hellraisers yesterday, quite convincingly as well, 2-0. There's, of course, Rubino.
That beard is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, everyone always points it out, right? But he's so good as well, looking similar to Semler, isn't he? You know, like, in a way, did he ever leave CS while we have Rubino around?
Yeah.
It makes me sad to think about it. It's all good, right? So here we go. So for Heroic, I think the thing that I find interesting, I do think Rubino is an upgrade over S-Tag, can I just say? Like, S-Tag, he was bought in and he had big boots to fill. They dropped Valda. Well, they lost Valda.
Yeah, the dropped is a little bit of an interesting term.
They lose Valda, of course. He goes and joins North. And then
he was benched.
Yeah, so then suddenly, you bring in someone, they bring in S-Tag, and he's like geared to have to fill the boots of Valdo, and obviously that was very tricky. So I think it didn't really work out. But we can hear a little bit more. I think we have another video all lined up. So
yeah, there's going to be a video, of course, from the side of TyLoo.
Hello, everybody. I am here with Accurate, who is the AWPA and in-game leader for TyLoo. Also the newest addition to the team, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, how's it going? Are you enjoying being a part of TyLoo?
From until now, it's going good for me and going well for my career also.
Yeah, well, at this tournament, I'd say so far it's going pretty good. You know, you fell to FaZe. That was quite a tough match. But then yesterday, you did manage to beat Fnatic, an extremely strong team. Are you happy about that?
Of course, we are happy because we beat some of the legend team. You know, the major team. We're really happy we get our confidence back.
And today, you are going to be playing against Heroic. Now, they're also 1-for-1, of course. What do you think your chances are against them?
Actually, yesterday we had a briefing a lot. We practiced a lot, and then we watched how they play. And then, as we know, like Luis Peacemaker is former TyLoo coach before. I think he will know how we play. So we're gonna change our tactic a little bit.
Yeah, I did mention that with him. Does that? Yeah. So you said you're going to change your tactics. Does it worry you at all that he might have, you know, still some of that knowledge, or have you changed things enough that he can't predict things based on what he was working on with you guys?
Actually, I worry a little bit because the tactic almost same with the old one. You know, before the tournament, we used the same tactic, and then, but I talked to the team like. We did not need to think about too much about it. We just play with our confidence like yesterday. I think we can make it.
Yeah, well, it's always a pleasure to watch you guys play. Accurate, if you'd like to say anything to anybody watching at home, including anybody from your own region of Indonesia, Southeast Asia.
Keep support TyLoo, guys. We're gonna represent Asia with our best.
There we go. Best of luck.
He's adorable. Absolutely adorable. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said.
Not only is he just an absolute slayer in the server, he is you know, a lovely guy outside of it. So yeah, I mean, you know, I think right now he's been a great pickup for TyLoo. There is there is no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, he had an absolutely brilliant performance over on Inferno in this matchup, or in the matchup that we currently have on our screens versus Fnatic. You could see how much, like when he was asked the question, like, are you happy about this? You could see how much it meant to him, especially, obviously being the new man on the block, joining this team, joining up with his old teammate of Bentet, and just standing out from the crowd and really showing up. Like, I sort of heard, well, talking to Bleh on Twitter, and he was saying that he is a very sort of sporadic AWPer, someone who can step up in games, but can sometimes fall a little bit silent. But that seems to be the story of TyLoo. Like, we saw them on day one, we were like, okay, they're just going to be that team, aren't they? They're going to be the team that gets absolutely obliterated, and it will just be one of those things where it's like people will be complaining about the Asian spots at the tournament, and that will be the story of it. And then they come back versus Fnatic, beat them 2-0, beat them in their map choice, and just show that they are here to play, and show that there really aren't any easy matches at this tournament. And now Heroic, I think this is a beautiful little storyline, because it's, again, the coach coming back to face off against his own team. It's a team that, or both teams that are currently 1-1 that maybe should have been, or maybe expected to be a little bit lower down the board. And in terms of one of them is going to be only one best-of-3 win away from actually getting through to the playoffs. That's a massive storyline for whoever that is. Like, Heroic, I don't think it'll be as surprising, but if TyLoo win this game, which I think is definitely possible, they're one win away from being in playoffs.
Yeah, and I have to ask, Tom, we already spoke about this. What way do you see this going?
I am going to stick. I'm going to stick with against the Chinese-Indonesian mix. I think it's going to be Heroic taking this home.
I thought you were just going to say, I'm going to stick against the Chinese. I was like, okay, that's a bit weird to just pick it according to that. But okay, Tom. No, I like
Thank you for letting
No, I actually
continue,
have an anecdote for my pick, but you continue with your theory.
You sure?
Yeah, I won't interrupt anymore.
Okay. Well, basically, because I'm looking at even just individual talent, I think Yugi is probably far and above the most talented person in the server. I think he could have easily been picked up by anybody in this sort of Danish mix. I'm very happy that Heroic managed to hold on to him, and I just think strategically that's also where Heroic should rule the show. But yeah, interestingly, we do actually have Cobble not being picked. I think that was something that Peacemaker somewhat expected to come in after how well they did on it yesterday. It will be Inferno taken instead, one of the favorite maps of TyLoo. Train will be the second, and then we finish off on that classic Asian Counter-Strike map of Mirage. I'm hoping we go the distance because I think that'll be a very exciting series indeed.
Yeah, you know, for me, Tom, I'm going to go the way of TyLoo. I think they looked very good yesterday. I think they're very motivated to do this, and I think it could be a pretty convincing win if they perform how they did yesterday. And the other reason is that last night I got an email, Tom, that my email address had been hacked by a mysterious man in China who tried to send himself to, you know, that's what the IP said, obviously. Tried to send himself like $15,000 from my PayPal or something like that. And it all got denied, but I'm just thinking, you know, if my money was already going to China, my money's now on China. And that's the second reason for me thinking TyLoo could do this, Tom. It was a sign. It's a sign that TyLoo are making the playoffs.
A sign. Doesn't he play for MVP?
Hey, there you go.
Either way, yeah. I think it'll be a good series. I'm hoping we will head to 3 maps. I don't see Train going the way of TyLoo. I'd be very, very surprised if they manage to take Train. And I do think they have a good chance in Inferno, though. I think it could definitely go the distance. But yeah, I just think the only surefire win is that Train pick coming out of Heroic. I do think Rubino slotting into the mix will be a little bit more difficult, but it is their best map. They're very happy to play it. And I don't see it going the other way. They do also play Inferno quite a lot, but definitely not to the level of success that we see. And again, I think that in terms of Yugi playing on Train, I think that's his playground. I think he's going to relish taking that battle. I think Xcura could make things a little bit more interesting, especially if he plays the same way that he did yesterday on Inferno. He was a bit more quiet on Cobble, still had his moments, but definitely not the same level of impact we saw on the second map. And I'm also looking forward to see what Somebody will do, because he is somewhat the man who, when a clutch is needed, when a play is needed, he's the one you look to. We saw that 4K spray down with the AK-47. There was a round that Fnatic almost managed to steal away when he had the MP9, and that was a crucial round. And there were so many of them that you can just sort of bring together that were actually very scary. And the only thing that does surprise me so far about TyLoo, and I think surprised a lot of people, Buntet hasn't actually shown up yet. And that's a scary prospect, because normally he's the hard carry. Normally he's the man at the top of the board leading the way, running away with the stats, and people going, free Buntet, making like jokes, of course, about it. And if he now comes alive as well, along with the players we've already seen throughout the tournament, they definitely could be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Buntet being quiet is like a drawback, because the fact that they've still been at it best.
No, yeah, that's what I mean.
Just shows how well everyone else is playing. And then you still have that, you know, that kind of card playable that is just, oh wait, also Buntet is amazing. And the thing, I mean, I haven't really seen much from Heroic since they've added Rubino. I'm going to be honest, but I think Yugi's very good. But my main issue then comes down to the rest of the squad, and I think they fluctuate a hell of a lot in terms of how well they play. And I think some of the decisions that they make just like sometimes don't make a lot of sense to me, especially when, you know, you kind of look at it and it's meant to be like this highly like regimented squad that go into everything so prepared. And then I always kind of question a lot of the decision making that comes in from this team. I do think Yugi is one of the players who could really really knock it home if he's on point, because there have been times where I've watched him and Yugi's been, you know, kind of like the worst guy in the server, and suddenly Heroic, oh, they're down like 13 rounds without getting anything, you know, like it's very worrying to me. That's been my biggest issue. I think consistency with this team, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I definitely think that they'll need Nico as well. I think Nico is the other sort of lead star in this lineup, and I'm interested to see where Rubino sort of slots in, like whether he is going to be taking over as somewhat more of a star position. I doubt it, but at the same time, he can be a strong secondary AWPer. I think that's a good point towards this man's sort of credentials. He always has been able to AWP to a relative success. And yeah, as said, I think him coming into the team is definitely a good addition. I'm just interested to see how he is actually going to slot into a lot of the roles that he's currently in, and whether or not it is going to be sort of more of a Cloud9 scenario where it just looks like he's a little bit out of place and needs to sort of step up and have a bit more time in the roster, or if we're going to see a bit more of like yesterday versus Hellraisers, where it actually seemed like he had a much better performance and the team looked better overall.
See, I agree with you about the whole, like, Nico's another guy to keep an eye on, but for me it always feels like he's one of the 2 stars on this team, not because he's, like, absolutely unreal, but he can be. But, like, I feel like it's more out of necessity because it's just, like, who else can you look to step up? Like, S-Tag definitely couldn't back when they had him in the roster. Snappy's IGLing. He normally does all right. Moddy's, like, really hit and miss, I find. So, like, you kind of, Nico's your only other rifler. You need him to step up. And I'm hoping that Rubino can add some variety there. I do think Nico's good. That's not me saying he's not good. I just mean I don't think he's, like, this insane carry. And even when you kind of have Nico as your name, you have a lot to live up to, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like, for me at least, that Nico is definitely a very, very strong character in this team. And I think Rubino, that was always the thing with him, actually, as well, is that he is quite hit and miss. He can just have an incredible game every once in a while. But I think, no, in terms of additions to the team, I think it's definitely a strong addition. And I'm looking mostly at still Nico and Yugi to lead the charge. But even still, I think that if they just do stick to a more like regimented style, even though Rubino might be a little bit off with some of the hits, I still think they should have what it takes to take on TyLoo. And either way, the winner of this game is going to be 2-1, one win away from getting themselves through to the playoff stage, which when you look at the caliber of teams at this tournament, I think both will be happy. I think both will be fairly content with getting to that stage. Either way, we've had our knife round. It's going to be the CT side start for TyLoo, and Heroic will get to set the pace on the T side.
Yeah, now TyLoo, they impressed me with their ability to play this map yesterday versus Fnatic. They have been looking good thus far. We're getting into this pistol round underway. And as you say, Heroic, they're over on the T side. They get to set the pace. D going to be out for Yugi. Suggesting they're going to try and take these long-range fights over a mid. And Accurate's going to be firing a couple of shots their way. Hasn't found anything as of yet. He has actually fallen back, and it's aggression from somebody down Banana. Nets them some information. All right, going to start to throw in the utility and start to make their way into this site. And, well, already, Frag's going to be going the way of Heroic, but there is still a man over here in Graveyard. It's Accurate. He's going to be making a stand. He is on 2. They're finally going to deal with him. But somebody's already rotated around, and the bomb's been dropped. They have to go out to get it. And somebody try to hold it down. Some team damage done. And now it's all on somebody. He was a bit of a star yesterday. A 1 versus 2 will be required, and they're going to go ahead and leave A. Start to progress towards that B bomb site. Somebody does catch them rotating. The issue here now becomes, though, Moddy doesn't even have to rotate into B. He can just wait. But he's going to go with Snappy so they can trade. Reposition from somebody now, sees him on Banana, and this could catch Heroic off guard. He's here very quickly.
Yeah, running up, though, gives a lot of information over. Doesn't have a kit, so has to do this very quickly indeed, and so many angles left to clear. Has absolutely no idea where the remaining opponents are, and it will be Snappy to win them that pistol. TyLoo not going to be able to invest too much into this. Just, well, they'll fully force, but it won't be anything too crazy. The CZs, however, have been excellent for this team. Somebody definitely a man to watch in this scenario. And they have been able to take quite a few force buys back against previous opponents. So we'll see how Heroic work in this anti-eco scenario. They've got a couple of AKs alongside the 3 SMGs. Accurate will be saving a little bit of extra money, obviously still getting a couple of kills in the last round, so he's able to invest into a Deagle at least. They got themselves a couple of smokes over on this. Push down, actually, coming in from somebody. Getting himself in a nice aggressive position, and because of this, they're going to rotate off a 4th man over towards this A site. The only thing I will say is somebody's going so aggressive. If he falls without getting anything done, well, that could be a big problem. In fact, now that he falls, they're going to have to actually rotate one of their stacked members away. He does at least get a trade. Yugi will go down. But it isn't going to be too much of a loss, at least this early on for Heroic. And I kind of would like to see him just hold a little bit, because now their stack over towards A is a little bit more vulnerable.
Right, going to be starting to push up through mid. Accurate does reside over here at long in the cubby. As that smoke starts to dissipate, Moddy does suspect. Peek comes in from Accurate. He's going to go down. Captain Mo in with a nice D. Going to get rid of Nico. Buntet still hiding. That's the bomb plant denied. And AK picked up. Snappy's down as well. And Buntet, he's in with 3 massive frags. That was fantastic from him. The patience as he waits in the corner. And Heroic, they don't check it. Feeling the pressure as well from Captain Mo's Deeg shot over towards short. I wasn't ready for that, but Buntet, he's just made this interesting. TyLoo, they're going to go ahead and grab that second round on the force buy.
TyLoo, anti-ecos. They just seem to be so good at winning those rounds with the pistols, and now they're going to have a big bolster to their economy. A couple of AKs picked up. They'll have a couple of UMPs and then an M4 bought on DD as well, so a much better buy, an early resurgence for TyLoo and Heroic. Definitely going to be kicking themselves in this scenario. Somebody will be on his way back towards the site after a little bit of early aggression. And one thing the TyLoo are actually pretty good at, we're holding on to their HEs a little bit later into the round just to try and almost stagger the aggression and get themselves some extra damage without having to face off against any of their opponents. And this time they're actually going to play very passive indeed. And this was something that Fnatic really struggled against. They just couldn't cope with how far back TyLoo were actually willing to play. And this was something that in history was something they did against SK as well, or I think at the time Luminosity, just didn't give them anything. They didn't give them any openings. They waited for some level of execution. We can see it happening now from Heroic. They're looking to try and spot someone. They've seen nothing. On the A site, they're sat all the way back. 1 man in pit, 1 on the site, and 1 in the graveyard. Push will eventually be coming in. Captain Mo sat back, goes down. So they will at least weaken this defense. The pop flash is good, but nothing really found. Finally, DD nets 1, but now it's all on to Excurate to try and close this down and sprays away with only a single frag. 20 seconds left. The bomb goes down comfortably, and now the rotation comes in from Buntet and somebody.
Yeah, they're starting this push on in. This is a round that TyLoo never should have lost. Somebody, first man on the scene, angles to check. Buntet not in a position to get the trade. He gets 1. He still has to find 2 more. And you mentioned he's been quiet for TyLoo. That time is ticking down. This crossfire set up, and I think he knows it's too strong. Rubino's able to find him, and that will be Heroic stealing a round back.
Yeah, no dominant person just yet in this matchup. CT side. They're going to force back into it. That's the real question. Already a little bit of investment. Buntet actually not going to go quite as heavily into this as expected. Maybe just trying to save a little bit of money for the AWP, but at the same time, his teammates already done the same. It'll be Excurate with 3,000 left in the bank. They're only going to get 1,900 into the next round anyway, so they're going to attempt to do at least a bit of damage. We will have T's making their way up towards Banana. Gonna be the boost in play from the CTs. Now the push will be coming in. They've started to rotate early. They've got a decent amount of information already. Push through the smoke. Snappy will be picking up 2. And already this is looking bleak. Can the CT side at least do a little bit of damage? So far not looking so good. Snappy with the 3rd, making a whole lot of cash here for his team. Well, now it's only DD and Captain Mo left.
Yeah, Captain Mo is going to retreat as he looks to try and hold on. DD is dedicated quite far forward. It is going to be a third round for Heroic. The buy comes in next round for TyLoo. No, it does not. That's my bad, Tom. That's fake news.
It will now be T-side keeping every single man alive for that one. A little bit of money made. The CT side actually do have a decent amount of cash on some of the players. I don't think they're going to go for a force in this round. I think it'd be a little bit much, but Buntet actually just going to go for a little bit more in terms of the CZ and the armor. Execure actually going to pick up a UMP. It will still leave him with enough to buy an AWP into the next round. Doesn't have any armor, so if anything, maybe give that over to Captain Mo and then he takes the Deeg. I think that makes a little bit more sense, but clearly he's looking to try and make that extra money. On the CT side, they have a chance to do some more damage. The only problem is if they don't, the Ts are just going to be allowed to build up so much extra economy. Push will be coming in over towards this A side of the map for now. And a peek down banana from the CTs may net them a bit of extra information. You can already see they're going to start doubling back extra players over towards this side. The problem is they may be just that little bit too late. The execution from Heroic has already begun. Modi will be the first in, spots out Excurate, a nice easy kill. Snappy finds the second as well, leaving two players completely sectioned off. But Captain Mo actually does manage to drop the bomb.
Yeah, that's the bomb dropped out in the open. That's massive. It's bought some time as well for somebody to get here, enjoying the rest of the pack. Captain Mo now going to go down at Buntet and somebody left. They're going to start to fall on back. TyLoo won't be going for this. Heroic going to be in with a fourth. And this is it's a good return from Heroic to get things back under control. If you remember, they win the pistol, they lose that force buy from TyLoo. Then they win the force of their own. It has just been forced by wars, but Heroic, they're the ones to reap the benefits of that. Keeping 4 players alive here as well is going to be fantastic.
And actually, yeah, that's going to be all the extra money made. Now, the big problem is that although they've now got their buy, they've got the AWP, everything that they desire, managing to bounce back like that for Heroic has just made them so much money. We already see like the majority of their players around that sort of even 5,000 marker. And Snappy, well, he's going to keep the UMP. They're actually going to use this as a bonus round. Now, a bonus round coming in on round number 6 sort of shows how the economy game has gone so far. Excurate will have his AWP. Molotov is going to be thrown. Now, this has been interesting so far because although we haven't seen the money yet from TyLoo, it does look like Heroic are in a much more execute-heavy style on this map, and that could work out, but already the aggression into apartments works out perfectly for the CT side. Captimo and Excurate managing those initial frags. Snappy is looking to try and find some sort of trade. He can at least upgrade to an AK-47, but other than that, it is looking bleak, and you can see the deep position from somebody as well, meaning that there once again is 4 players over towards this site. However, he at least needs to get a kill here, because if he goes down without much else, okay, Buntet's now rotating in, so it changes it a bit, but it'll still make things quite difficult for Buntet. Sat in this corner, rounding the corner will be Snappy. He gets 1, looks for a second, and then Buntet pounces to pick up the third. Somebody doing work, TyLoo on the board, and more importantly, they keep every single person alive.
Yeah, great stuff from somebody there. Buntet is able to help out, and now for Heroic, it is going to be a buy. They should be able to actually fill the buy into the next round as well, but it won't be pretty for 2 of these players. Yugi's got the AWP out for Heroic. Going to be a push up top of Banana here. Buntet going to get Molotov down. Luckily enough, his Molly does manage to pick up Snappy. Rubino loses the duel to somebody, and that's the man advantage taken for TyLoo. Rotation coming in from Accurate. Sees him taking up position here inside this B bomb site along with somebody. And Nade going to find a lot of damage onto Yugi. Heroic now just trapped over in mid. But it looks like they're going to start to head up Banana here towards this B-bomb site.
Once again, it's only going to be one man here. Excurate has the AWP in hand. And that angle he's taken should allow him to potentially just get that one pick. Now, on the other side of the map, Modi is looking to try and just be that man to hold off rotations. And considering there's still 3 players here from the CT side, he has a decent chance of doing it. Now, into the next round, both teams with a similar amount of money, but the loss bonus won't really help them too much. A lot of this will come into Excurate and what he's able to do. And already he picks off that first, then uses his utility to try and hold back any further aggression. Only going to be one man here, and the rotations aren't really being held by Modi. Yugi has a lot left to do, and he'll be taken down by Excurate as well. Nice hold onto the site. Modi has no choice but to try and save his weapon. And in terms of the next round buy, I think they'll probably still go for it, but Nico may be a little bit low on cash.
Yeah, no, Nico was the only man that you had to worry about, and Modi can actually drop something over here. Admittedly, well, enough for an AK, but you can see him drop maybe a Galil or something of the likes. TyLoo going to be on to a third. Double AWP set up in play now as somebody picks one up as well. Curious to see how they fare with this double AWP setup. A chance as well, I think, you know, for TyLoo to and like I think it'll be funny if they win, right? Because, you know, obviously they had Peacemaker in as their coach, and then to beat the team that he's coaching. I mean, I feel like they're, even though they say it's all like good terms, you still want to win this. For either side, you know, like there's a little bit more at stake in that regard. A little bit of revenge, perhaps, for TyLoo, or a chance for...
Well, it depends which way you look at it,
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
though,
There's
because
two
Peacemaker was almost forced by the organization to try and play in the major. So, if anything, I think he might be the one looking for a little bit more revenge. I don't think there's actually any bad blood between the players and Peacemaker, just for the record. Or actually, I know that for a fact.
No,
he said it himself.
I'm just saying it from like the perspective of it'll be like a satisfying win.
I think either way. Both teams, as I said, they're going to be able to go 2-1. Again, we're going to see a bit more of a sort of abstract position from this CT side. They're going to look to play only towards short, allow the arch side to be taken, but already early damage has been done. The force buy has come in the meantime from the T side. They've not got the best buy, but still got AKs on the majorities of player. And now we're going to have just extra utility being expended. Again, this is something TyLoo did very well previously, just holding on to all of those nades until the latter portion of the round, making things difficult. Already now, mid-control finally goes the way of this T side, but they've only got 30 seconds left already. Buntet is going to start things off, looking for more aggression. Pop flash doesn't work. Another player is here, though. DD just trading. I'm going to leave it down to just one on the site. Modi's found 2. Excurate trying to hold on, but he's not going to be able to. And with 15 seconds left, the bomb will be going down. A second AWP is rotating in. Somebody looking for the pick. Gets the first, but can't quite do it. Snappy will be there to trade. Heroic bounce back. And now the money for TyLoo, well, it's going to be hurting a bit. Somebody will have an AWP if he wants it. And DD can buy up with a rifle. Same for Excurate, so they may look to go for something here. But Buntet and Captain Mo with 2,000 and below, that's going to make things quite a bit more difficult. The only thing I would say is, just based on the fact that Heroic aren't going to have much money, that could make things a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how TyLoo we're going to approach this one, Tom. There's a little bit of cash on a few of the players. Somebody currently with 5,000, but it looks like they're just going to opt to go for a save almost across the board. He does finally invest in a CZ and some armor. He can get the AWP in the next round anyway, which is what they want. They have a little bit to work with, but Heroic, they're the ones you'd expect to be winning this round. Mac 10 up on Rubino to make some cash. There are 3 players without armor, and even somebody who doesn't have head armor. So this Mac 10 is going to be lethal. Somebody It's all the way down Banana, and there are lots of players here waiting. Rubino going to be watching the smoke. It all comes down to timing here. He might try flash them through. As the smoke starts to fade, they're going to go in. Somebody now peeks out. He gets 2, and that's the bomb dropped as well. Buntet, we've seen these two been a bit of a dynamic duo down here towards Banana. He's never to get anything. He does just fall back, but it's a good start given to TyLoo from somebody.
Yeah, he is the master of that CZ. Yugi posted up with the AWP. Again, we're just going to see those 2 players right back on B. But Tech can be flashed in, but won't get anything done. And at the moment, Heroic just trying to find positions on the map that they can take. This is interesting from the CT side. They've thrown a smoke just to sort of bait out the idea that there's players here and started rotating both off. Buntet will come back towards this B site. Pushing around the edge of the smoke is going to be Modi as they now look to execute onto this site. Remember, this is only a save round coming out from TyLoo. The next is where they look to purchase already. A little bit of damage done from Excura on the cross. 15 seconds left on the clock. Buntet sat in the corner. Already manages to pick up 1 and just going for the plant in the smoke. Can he find Rubino? Both players span. But the bomb goes down. It won't matter though. They've stolen a round away. The AWP is going to be saved. The bomb's going to be defused. And TyLoo, once again, they managed to win a round based off of these pistols.
And it all comes down to that start from somebody. That's what gets the ball rolling. And then that play in towards the back of the site from Buntet. Just waiting patiently. They don't discover him fast enough. And that will be, as you say, a 4th for TyLoo. They are looking good in these pistols. Loot bets show Heroic, they're the more favoured in this. I can agree though. I can agree with the sentiment that it's a close match. I mean, I would take the TyLoo bet all day long. I think they've looked very good.
It's their own. I don't agree.
Tom. Put your money where your mouth is, Tom.
Well, I have. I've put my prediction.
Yeah, but that's not money, Tom.
My prediction
holds no monetary value.
It's worth much more than money. It's got my pride on the line, which is value
Tom,
beyond
you have
belief.
no pride left. Okay? You gave that up a long time ago.
At least I didn't switch to supporting Renegades halfway through the match.
I've supported Renegades from day one, Tom. Here we go. Yugi has been able to get rid of DD early on. So these pistols, for either side, actually doing a lot of work. Heroic, they've got the early man advantage. Somebody's left aggressive down the bottom of Banana. Heroic going to emerge from their hidey hole. Nope. Might go back in. The meerkat technique. Peek your head out, check around, go back down, rinse, repeat. They're going to start to make their way over here towards short. Where Captain Moda stand. He's running a bit low on ammo though. This is going to be a bit of a problem as they start to come his way. Now he's in with a deagle as well.
Ooh.
Oh, Captain Mo. Okay, he's going to show that he's a bit more proficient with these pistols than the rest of Heroic. TyLoo, they're in with a 5th round and almost the ace for Captain Mo.
Yeah, still though, considering what was invested, 3 players, sorry, dropped. So the CT side, well, their money's going to take a bit of a hit. The thing is, managing to win that round with pistols when they were already saving a few thousand is going to make a big difference to how much money they have overall. And actually, when you look at the amount of money they have left, even if they lose this next round, they'll probably still be buying into the next. Heroic are actually going to take themselves a pause over on this T side. And we are just going to be waiting to see what they're going to come up with. There's still no AWP available for Yugi. It has actually been fairly quiet. In fact, it's Yugi and Nico both at the bottom of the board for their team at the moment. Not what I was expecting going into things. As said, those are the players on train at least who I do expect to have the big performances. Yugi with the AWP, Nico normally playing a more catalyst role towards that B site. I'm expecting big things from them. But let's see if they can look to steal away the map pick of their opponent. The strat book of TyLoo was written by the coach on the other side. A bit of spam coming in, but in these early round situations, Heroic haven't looked to really take much control of Banana. There's 3 players currently there over towards that B site, leaving the A site a little bit vulnerable. Now, the one thing I will say, there's plenty to exploit in this TyLoo defense. They do take a lot of risks. I like the fact that they do. It makes things quite interesting and can work out wonderfully in their favor. But it means that if the demos have been watched, Peacemaker should have been able to give his team a little bit of insight into how this TyLoo team are going to play. They've gone for the 4-man gamble, leaving Excura alone towards that B site, and already damage is going to be done, but the first kill still comes in for Captain Mo, the monster in the pit.
Now they're going to start to look to come on in. Captain Mo, he's in with a second. He's been on a tear right now over here towards A. He's going to be back-to-back with Buntet. Buntet's able to trade. That's the bomb drop, and there's still DD inside of the site. Buntet in with a second. Now it's Yugi. He's not able to step up to the mark of TyLoo. They will be in with a 6th round. Money reset for Heroic here. Buy going to be coming back in from TyLoo, and a chance for them to make some money, perhaps. Not going to be purchasing up any SMGs, just playing it safe.
Yeah, this is already a great resurgence from TyLoo. Money starting to build once again, and it should be built even more, although these pistols have been effective so far from Heroic. Push going to be coming up Banana. Excura finds one, a second as well, and it is just a slaughter of Heroic. The Asian side not taking a single point of damage. Now the T's are in with a buy once again. Again, no AWP. It's not always expected over on the T side of Inferno. Well, we are... I kind of want to see Heroic go back to that sort of execute style they did versus the Pistols, just sectioning off the site with all of those smokes and then looking for the entry that way, because the fact is burning down this clock really does actually help TyLoo out. They love sitting so passively. They love waiting for that timer to really tick away. This round at least, they are throwing in a little bit of aggression, mainly over towards that apartment. In fact, everybody's watching apartment. The push through mid catches him a little bit, but DD's the second person lurking in the darkness. But Yugi has managed to find himself a second. All the players over towards this A side of the map will fall. And now we get to see if Buntet and somebody can work that retake.
Yeah, we were praising the TyLoo retakes yesterday. Will that hold true now? Buntet boosted over. Hasn't managed to spot anything just yet. Yugi looking like he might try peeking into this. Modi's going to hear them drop down. He knows there is a man here. Somebody's going to get legged, and that is it. The save call comes in. TyLoo go for the retreat, and Heroic, they're going to be on to a 6th round. TyLoo keep 2 rifles up, provided that no one goes down, so they can buy into the next round regardless. It is going to be a good round from Heroic as they move to their 6th on the board.
Yeah, TyLoo trying something a little bit different in that round, and unfortunately for them, it's the one round that Heroic actually decide to burst out mid, so their sort of double defense over towards Apps didn't really work out too well from them. Interestingly, I'm actually quite surprised DD actually only manages to get 1 kill there. Maybe a little bit more trigger discipline. He could have got more, because it's unlikely that they would have expected a second player to just be waiting in the apartments. Either way, we now get to see that AWP onto Yugi. He got a couple of kills in that last round. Double AWP setup will come in for Captain Mo and Excure. Now remember, Captain Mo didn't really pick up the AWP yesterday, but he used to be the primary AWPer for this team. So definitely is a man, a flashy AWPer at that. Again, we're going to see multiple players over towards this B side of the map. Deep Molotov actually doing a huge amount of damage onto Rubino. Nico and Modi this time a little bit wary about taking control of Apps. Of course, in the previous round, we saw 3 players up there. Captain Mo will be here with the AWP. He does hit the shot, doesn't get the kill, but it's a second low player now for Heroic. 21 and 11 HP on Rubino and Modi. Back to Banana they go. Once again, we've seen this gamble play come out from TyLoo, sending 4 players over towards that A side of the map, leaving Excura alone. Now, previously, he has done quite well in this position. Pop Flash will take them over, and instantly, the second any sound is made, we see somebody start rotating his way back, making his way forward, allowing those 3 players to just stay deep in the site. It does mean that there's potential for a wraparound if anybody was able to get onto that arch side, but we see DD looking to pick up that defense, and I think it's quite clear that this is going to be a B hit coming out from the T's.
Yeah, they flashed themselves through. There's a man on coffins. A man through that smoke in CT. They go ahead and re-smoke, and that's going to now force Heroic in through it. They wait for that to fade. They're going to have about 8 seconds left, so they have to go through. Accurate now up on top of the coffins. He finds the first. Rubino's been allowed to get past somebody. Bomb will be picked up. Accurate tries to deny it. Just going to miss the first and the second. He actually tags Nico, but doesn't manage to get the kill. It's a 4-on-4, and everyone for Heroic is wounded. It's this monstrous flank coming in from Modi that could make all the difference. They've got no idea. He's in behind a lot of them. Captain Mo's gone down. He pounces now. That's going to keep the pressure on. Buntet turns around and does manage to find him, but it's bought time. Buntet about to make his way in. Didi and Kira out from Ruins. Executa's able to land it. Now it is just Yugi left. 1 versus 3. And he's going to go down. TyLoo get it done in the retake. In spite of the flank from Modi, it is going to be an 8th round now for TyLoo.
Yeah, another showing of a strong retake from the TyLoo side. Well, I think the lower HP players definitely played a part in it, but at the same time, props where props are due, and they are going to take themselves that first half victory. Yugi will be back on that AWP once again. Double AWP setup purchased for the CT side, and I feel like it has been fairly effective so far. Captain Mo hasn't quite had the same effect he had in the pit before. Still been doing quite well, and somebody's actually going to get burnt down a little bit to 70 HP. Again, Apps control going to be a point of contention. Looking like they may just double peek towards the position of Captain Mo, holding the angle. This time doesn't manage to connect the shot and takes some initial damage. The nade will do more, and he's actually going to go back and takes the pick instead. Great work from Captain Mo. Yugi in the meantime trying to sneak around towards short. Again, it's such a passive hold from TyLoo back towards the site that they really have to go peeking into aggressive angles, and when you have just this raw individual skill on TyLoo and that AWP, it becomes so much more difficult. In fact, they're going to try and utilize the boost to give them a little bit of an off angle.
Yeah, this is a good way for Yugi to try and find an opener. He's creeping in. There's no way they check this. Didi, his head's visible. He's got no idea. Yugi just going to miss that opportunity, and now he's going to hop down. Execute going to miss the shot. Yugi does tag him, but doesn't quite find it up in the air. Execute's going to be able to get that shot, and now, with only 30 seconds, he's on to a second. Snappy now pounces in from behind. He's able to get 1. Captain Mo goes down inside the site. It all falls to somebody. He starts to creep in. He spots the head of Snappy. Modi going to be tagged. Snappy peeks out, and Snappy wins it. With 17 HP to spare, Heroic, they lock themselves in a 7th round, and the half is going to go 8-7. Still with a round advantage the way of TyLoo, but Heroic make a nice recovery there in at the end. And one thing I have been liking, Tom, I do love the TyLoo setup on their CT side on Inferno.
I think it's just irritating. I think that's what it is, because unless you're like specifically countering it, it's very difficult to just find openers into the site, and a lot of these players just aren't missing shots, so it's not so much of a problem for them. Like you have people in the pit who can just sit back, you have people just able to sort of take information on the other side of the map, and then you have just like an AWP sort of set up over towards that B site, which then just seems to find the pick every single time. It's just smart play, and they keep trying to be dynamic as well. Like one round they'll have Captain Mo going aggressive into the apartments, then they'll have 3 players in apartments, then they'll have no one there. They're all back towards the site itself, and it just means that Heroic spends so much of the round just trying to clear all these different angles that it comes down to the last 40-30 seconds to actually execute onto the site. Either way, now we have to see what they can do over on their T side, and already it will be the first kill going their way. Yugi has had quite a quiet game, but he will manage to get a pick here. The wraparound coming in. Snappy is waiting. Both players somewhat missing their shots, but eventually he's overwhelmed, and Yugi shall be as well. The wraparound towards this A site begins. Or B site, sorry. Somebody trying to hold off rotations, but is low, so it goes down, and is given a chance now to Heroic.
Yeah, Execute going to be holding all the way down. Banana now leaves it on his teammates Didi and Captain Mo. In inside of B. Bomb ticking down. Kit has been retrieved. Rubino's able to open up. Nice trade from DD. Now he's going to fall. Accurate. Modi's there. Modi's going to win the duel on the first. And now the brains behind Heroic has to try and step up. He reads the situation well. And Excurate, he doesn't last the minute. It will be the round going the way of Heroic. They're on to an 8th. They win the pistol round here on the CT side in spite of everything going right initially for TyLoo.
Yeah, no, they manage the wraparound, they get all of the kills, but a little bit of a... I feel like there were a couple of overfaces there. The sort of second to last kill, I think, was on DD, going for that battle versus Modi at the end. That wasn't really necessary, and it leaves his teammate in a bit of a horrible situation. Somebody's one was a little bit more understandable, but he was so low on HP that maybe staying alive would have been, but that's more of a hindsight sort of thing. Either way, T-side will invest some money into this round. Actually, a bit of a weird one from them because they got the bomb down. So they're going to go with a Deagle and a CZ. CZ's on the majority of players, but then 2 of the players going into the next round won't really be able to buy properly, so they may need another bomb plant. It will give them the chance to actually do extra damage, and you never know. It could just be the fact that they really want the AWP in play and may just look to save a little bit extra. We'll have to wait and see. Either way, nice start from Captain Mo. He is going to be able to get that kill onto Yugi. Deep push has come in from Snappy as well onto the banana. There will now be, again, 2 players towards this pit. Quite a passive hold now coming in from Heroic. Maybe trying to beat them at their own game. The only problem is they don't have too much information. There's going to be a swarm of players coming towards those 2 pit players. They've got a lot of work to do, and Didi will at least be able to overwhelm 1. However, Rubino from the pit has done work. He will be picking up 3 kills in this round, saving Heroic from any sort of disaster. And it will now be 9-8. But this is where I wonder what TyLoo are going to do. Because they got 3 players who can now buy AKs. Didi and Captain Mo, well, Didi can without head armor, and they are going to go for it. A bit of a weird one, but they do create some cost, maybe force some rebuys. And Captain Mo, I guess he's fairly happy playing that Deagle at the moment. He's done well with it so far.
Yeah, it is an interesting idea. Nades down mid. For the amount of them, Captain Mo is going to be feeling fairly lucky he didn't take that much more damage there. Now the good thing is that Heroic have only heard that Deagle chiming in. Still not entirely sure what the plan was here for TyLoo on the side of Heroic. They've been given a lot of control over here towards top mid as Yugi does wait in library. He's able to spot Buntet. That's one of the rifles gone. Captain Mo now going to retrieve it. Good flash to hold the push, but look, Didi's so far forward. Yugi, he has to win this, and he is going to go down. That CT cracked wide open. Now the pressure's on for Rubino and Modi. Do they rotate off? Snappy, as he waits in this corner. If they don't check it, this makes or breaks this round. They will. Snappy's fallen. Somebody now looks to turn his attention over here towards Banana, where Nico will be waiting, and instead, actually, he's going to stick around over in top mid to catch these rotations. Modi might be able to find him. Timing is to be good here, and he just manages to slip by.
Yeah, this could give a false sense of security, actually. It just depends what way somebody is actually looking. He's not going to be noticing the fact that Rubino is here, but because they're backing away, this is just going to be brutal if Rubino doesn't check. I don't know why he would have done. I don't know why he would have expected anybody to be there, leaving only 2 players actually to survive in this scenario. And although they've won the last couple of rounds, it hasn't been particularly clean, thanks to the damage done in the previous. And so Heroic, if they do force, okay, they'll get a rifle dropped, well, or the SMG dropped from Nico. Modi can drop a little bit. Actually, never mind. Nico can't drop anymore. He gets a kill, but he dies to the bomb. So, if anything, I don't even know if this is worth a buy from Heroic. They've got 1 rifle. They can buy up a second. But other than that, it's just going to be pistols and a UMP. It will be the somewhat forced buy of, okay, we've not got any loss bonus, so it might be worth going for something. But Looking like they might just try and play off this one rifle. So TyLoo, early break back. A bit of an interesting buy in the second round to do some extra damage. And now, well, unless Modi can pull off another one of those crazy plays we've seen where an individual rifle wins them around, it's looking like TyLoo are going to be back in the lead.
And I have to be honest, Tom, I am a big fan of a lot of the decisions that TyLoo make. I think in terms of their strategy, how they play their CT side and T side on Inferno, I'm a big fan. I'm subscribing to the TyLoo newsletter. I'm enjoying it. Maybe not the flash there so much from Buntet, but they are certainly a very good team, especially, Tom, for a team that communicates in 2 different languages. You know, you wouldn't expect the strategy to be the thing that you write home about. But right now, they're over here towards top mid. Modi's going to get spotted. That's the one rifle gone. Yugi lines up for them as well. Rubino's going to start creeping forward to try and grab that M4, and he will be allowed to get it. They have gone ahead and found 2 over here towards A. Now they double back, which is good for Rubino. He can now just look to hold on to the M4. Snappy and Nico both boosted up in the back of the site, which is curious. It is going to be an off angle. TyLoo, when they come knocking though. Snappy's able to get one. Now he's got an AK, but that's it. He falls. Rubino left 1 versus 4. And you imagine he's just going to look to try and save that M4 now.
Yeah, bring something into the next round. The extra 1900, especially with that extra rifle, will actually be the difference to give them a buy. He's the one a little bit low on money. The only thing he has to watch out for is DD still lurking in the back lines. The timing is going to work out perfectly as well. Lead taken, pause called from Snappy. Now, in terms of a buy, Nico could drop an AWP for Yugi. Snappy can buy. Rubino, if he does buy, has to go for a UMP. And in fact, Yugi, well, he then has to either drop a FAMAS or something of the sort, or go glass cannon and drop a rifle, which I suppose if he's being given an AWP, he could do. By the looks of things, it's actually going to be the FAMAS option. So they are buying into this round. It's not going to be the best buy for sure, but at least has a decent amount of utility behind it. They've also got a kit and that AWP. And I think that needs to be the difference maker, because the 2 players I highlighted going into this series for Heroic have been fairly quiet. Now, the fact that that's the case and we're still at 10-9 definitely shows that if they step up, they should be theirs to take the game. But at the moment, TyLoo, they've built up a little bit of extra cash. They're going into this T half with now a chance to set Heroic back to nothing in the next round again. And they have the much better buy of the 2.
Yugi goes for that aggro peek and does get Molotov low. Actually, a nade onto the corner here could just spell death for him. He's going to get chipped even lower. 30 HP now. Into CT he goes. But TyLoo, their attention is fixated elsewhere. The object of their desire is A. Nico playing very passively over towards Arch. Does mean as well that all it takes is one smoke to nullify him, and then you've just got the 2 players over in the pit and balcony to worry about. They're going to be over here towards long. Looking like this is where they're going to head first. And there's the smoke into Arch. Now the pressure's on for poor Nico. He's able to get one. The bomb drops through the smokes. Now they have to keep pushing. Captain Mo is able to go ahead and get rid of 2 players. Modi's still alive. He has to try and make a stand, but he will fall. And now Snappy and Yugi left alive here. 2 versus 3, and they're going to have to save. They start to peel away. Yugi's already tagged too low. The bomb's down, and retaking it even in an even scenario is tricky enough. So it's going to be an 11th round for TyLoo.
Yeah, they have now confirmed themselves the lead, and there isn't going to be a bounce back just yet. Once again, they keep 3 players alive. Great round coming out from Captain Mo just to wipe out those players on the site itself. And yeah, for Heroic, they can't really go for a buy in the next round either. They'll get 2,400. Maybe they get a pistol or 2, but it's not going to be anything ridiculous. And yeah, this is not the greatest start to their CT side. I definitely think losing to those AKs and in that 3rd round has put them on a bit of a slow start. to this half. It does mean that Heroic now have won both pistols. It's worth mentioning because they do need to somewhat step up in this scenario. Now they're going to invest a little bit into utility, maybe trying to keep hidden where those weapons are. Snappy and, of course, Yugi. Yugi currently on 9 and 16. Nico 7 and 16, so quite performance from them. Yugi looking to go aggressive. There will be a man holding the angle with the AWP. Actually, Nico's going to be the one to fall. It does allow Yugi to reposition himself. It's only one of the pistols lost. Flashbang goes back in. Smart from Extra, though, just to make sure that he has the angle once again. Yugi is going to be alone over towards this B side of the map. They're just using utility to just try and get rid of him, and that's the sound cue that gives away at least where the AWP is.
And do they keep going into the moors of Yugi? Rotation going to be coming in from Modi. Sees now 2 players, about to be 3 as Rubino follows suit. It looks like everyone's rotating off of A, and TyLoo, they've got Heroic's number. They've got ahead and doubled back. They're just going to be allowed to walk into A. And the idea here, of course, you know, if you're Heroic, you've stacked B. The bomb goes down on A, you don't bother going for the retake. You do just look to save. And if the bomb does head into B, then, you know, you've got 4 players here, so it's a good chance to defend. But it's weird. Like, Tom, one of the things that we all kind of thought heading into this is, you know, Peacemaker, he had a lot to say about the strategy for TyLoo. He was one of the people who really helped them refine all that. And then you know, now you see him coaching Heroic instead. And you kind of imagine, like, that he's going to have the inside scoop as to what TyLoo are doing. But it seems like they're beating Heroic at every turn in terms of the calls that are being made.
Well, I think the other thing he might just be doing is like, why did I teach them that? Why did I tell them how... that's so annoying. I made that one. just sort of like... Oh, they execute that. Oh, I mean, what? Like, well, obviously he can't. His team can't hear him all the time.
It's like his own, you know, his own creation.
Yeah,
he's now betrayed it.
Just like, oh yeah, Excura. That was a good pickup by them actually. If I'd had him. But yeah, for now, we're still yet to see a proper fall by from Heroic with all the utility, everything they desire. I'm hoping that will make the difference for them, because at the moment on their CT side, it has just been a walkover for TyLoo. They've started to make large amounts of money, every single player surviving. But as said, this is it. This is where we get nigh on all of the utility that's needed. Modi a little bit short. They've got kits on pretty much every single player. It is going to take them a little bit to break the money down from TyLoo, but it will at least give them that opportunity. 12-9. TyLoo not far away from taking their map pick. Yugi this time is going to be taking the challenge into mid, although it does seem to be Excurate with his number at the moment. Currently 18 and 11 in the server, and playing very well indeed. This is looking like one of his maps, and while we're actually going to see a fair bit of aggression coming up from the CT side. Throwing the deep smoke. They are going to go pushing. They've got to be careful because shots are coming back through the smoke itself. Secondary will be coming in, and it means that the T's can't actually go for any sort of aggressive peek. And you can see just the difference in strategy. Completely different to what we saw from TyLoo. Lots of aggression, lots of control being attempted towards mid, although we will now see Yugi falling back a little bit. You've got banana control being taken, smokes going all the way down, which is something somebody would do. Nico in the corner, somebody speak his name. He jumps around the corner and takes his head clean off, and now they're going to go chasing. Snappy desperately trying to cling to life to buy some time for the rotations. The Molotov forces him out. Brilliant Molotov from the T side as they now take over this site. Yugi, he's in the backlines, desperately trying to find something, an opener for Heroic. But that was just a complete change of pace from TyLoo. They find that opening kill, they rush down the second man, but whoever threw that Molotov, that was absolutely perfect. He just seemed to know exactly where Snappy was going to be going, and just went, you know what, you can try and stay there all you like. You got 4 players waiting for you.
I love Excurate. He's such a good pickup for TyLoo. Like their calling seems to be refreshed since we see him at the helm of all this. Their decision-making has been on point. And yeah, it just seems like... I mean, the thing that I find funny is, you know, we saw them beat Fnatic yesterday. That was like the the assault on Sweden, and now all the Scandinavia's bound together in this team. You know, you got the Danes, the Swedes, Norwegians, all trying to stop TyLoo.
And the final boss will be the UK.
No, Tom. Final boss will be, I don't know who it would be, but I guess just like international.
Maybe FaZe.
Yeah.
And you get one from each. Sort of.
Well, I mean, what do you mean one from each? One from each of what?
Well, like some of the different countries in Europe.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
What did you think
Well,
of,
that's why I suggested international, Tom.
Yeah, so we put forward FaZe. Oh. Or Cloud9. They've got to beat the might of America. Either way. We've had the pause. The double op setup comes in for Heroic. The money is with them at this point. However, that doesn't seem to be stopping the train of TyLoo, as they have now won 5 rounds in a row, only losing the pistol and second round. A little bit more of a passive hold from the CT side. There's an aggressive position from Snappy, though, but he doesn't manage to connect the shot.
Yeah, and that missed shot, he's lucky to be alive, and he knows it. Execute hasn't really been missing this game, so he is given a second chance. And that's also a downside for TyLoo. They've just let what would have been an early man advantage slip through their fingers. On the back of this, they've showed their hand over here towards A. Toward B, rather. Now they're going to start to head up here towards this A bomb site. Modi is watching mid from the boost. Players are here with them. They're going to start to progress out. Boost gets dismantled. Bomb's headed back over here towards this B bomb site. Snappy. Well, you wonder what that missed shot might have done. Execute now goes down from the man that he could have found earlier on. 40 seconds left. That clock has ticked low. Heroic don't need to rotate anyone off of B anymore. Now they can just keep the split how it is. And they know it. They've got the advantage here. It requires some amazing shots from TyLoo to pull them back into this. Smoke goes down over here at B. They're trying to sell the fake, but it hasn't worked. Heroic, they're going to keep 3 players inside of A, and now the push comes in. Rubino, he's in the pit. He's dropped the bomb, and this could be enough. Somebody's able to refrag it, though. Yugi shuts down somebody. Bomb hasn't been retrieved. 7 seconds. It's going to be close. DD just gets it down in time. So it is going to be 2 versus 3 in the retake. Snappy's holding. If DD peeks up, DD wins the duel. Snappy's gone down, a missed shot. And that could be TyLoo's way back into this round. They have the crossfire. Captain Mo's found the first. Now it's all on Yugi. 16 HP. He's able to get Captain Mo through the pits. And now DD. 1 shot is all that's required from either party, and DD wins it out. A 3K to give TyLoo their 14th round. An absolutely stellar performance there from DD. And that is going to be a harsh reality kicking in now for Heroic as they invest everything they've got into this buy. If they lose this, it'll be a force buy for what could very well be the last round of the game.
Yeah, and TyLoo just continue. There's nothing stopping them at the moment over on this T side. We'll have the AWP once again for Yugi. Still yet to see too much from the star of this Heroic side. As said, I expect a lot from him on train, but Inferno definitely looked like a weaker performance from Heroic as a whole. 14-9. Somebody looking for the aggression into the apartments. Hasn't really been challenged. We're going to see the 3-man defense over towards short side. Rubino. Moise Molotov is not going to land, and somebody is going to be setting up. They're looking to just barrel out on towards this A side. It's been going well so far. They line up, but actually Rubino isn't going to be able to do too much. Another one comes in. Modi finding a kill. Somebody with the trade. Another as Modi goes down. And again, it comes down to this retake scenario. The A site has fallen every time that TyLoo want to take it. And it's left with Snappy and Nico. Nico's had a very quiet performance indeed. He goes pushing in. Manages to get a first. Spots the second. Finds him as well. And Snappy will close the round. This time they get their first buy round on the board. But there is so much money coming back for TyLoo. There is so much left in the bank accounts. The fight is not over yet for Heroic.
No, not at all. And only keeping 2 players left. They have to buy back into this now. That reset is still looming. They would get a stronger buy if they lost now. That is a good thing for them. They have to really focus on starting to build this economy up and breaking down the economy of TyLoo. 14-10, a round that never should have been. Heroic, they're not out of this one just yet, Tom. 2 players over here towards B. Nico with the early peek down banana along with Snappy. Didn't spot anything initially. That nade gonna find some good damage. I say good damage, 15 isn't that great.
I was sort of looking at it like, I'm
Maybe.
not going to question it, but...
Ooh, Nico, there you go. That's how you throw a
That's
nade.
good damage.
He's going to take some chip damage from the nades. Nico gets flashed in. Captain Mo's gone down. He's been allowed to get away. And it feels like in these last few rounds, Nico is just kind of throwing caution to the wind. But that's good. That's when Nico's deadly. He's grabbed him the early man advantage. Execute's going to go back for the bomb. We haven't really seen any problems been thrown in the way of TyLoo on their T side. TD going to start to progress forward. He's in the smoke. Moddy's not ready. Moddy doesn't suspect that, because why would you? But at the end of the day, smokes aren't walls.
Thank you for clarifying.
Some people do forget. DD, he's been the man to pull this back and equalize it out. Now the remaining players up to Banana. Nico on the boost. They've left 1 man here with 14 HP, because once again, Snappy started to rotate away from this B-bomb site. He is now making a return. Rubino's coming with him. But he could very easily get locked out by a singular smoke down in CT. In it blooms. And now Nico up here on top of the boost. 1 shot is all it takes, and somebody's going to connect it. Snappy, 15 seconds. Going to try and make a play. He has dropped somebody. Going to keep going. The reign of terror's not done yet. Snappy's in with a second. Extra going to go peeking in and finally picks it up. 2 versus 2 in the retake. It comes down to it once again. Yugi and Rubino. Not used to being the players in the retake. Start to push on in. Yugi versus Excurate. Yugi wins it. Now it's DD left. A 3K just rounds ago locked in. The 14th for TyLoo. Now he's got to do it once again. And already, Rubino taps on that bomb. Yugi holds the angle. They're going to be able to find it. And that will be an 11th now for Heroic.
Yeah, a couple of rounds in a row. Still haven't built up too much money, so if they do lose a round, they're going to be in big trouble. And the T's getting the bomb down, well, almost. They've got the bomb down more rounds than they haven't in this half by quite a margin, actually. In fact, I don't even know if they haven't got one down because, well, no, actually, second round they didn't. But other than that, they've been winning the rounds off kills anyway, so it's actually quite hard to tell. Either way, I know that the bomb plants have been coming in thick and fast. You've got the CT side investing into that double op setup. The T's actually going to get one in as well. So clearly feeling that the level of aggression coming out from Heroic at the moment is enough to try and counter things. Words, of course, being said by Peacemaker. With TyLoo calling a pause, he gets the chance to have a chat with his team as well. There we go. 4 AWPs in the server at the moment. Snappy, Yugi, DD, and of course, Excurate, the man top of the board at the moment. We are just going to see DD watching towards those apartments. Excurate peeking into mid, so no real challenge into Banana other than that of Captain Mo. He's had a fairly good game so far, but still expecting more. That's a lot of damage. Nade hits him, shot through the wall. Snappy gets the opener. And there is no return to be had.
Yugi's in with another. The double AWPs tearing TyLoo limb from limb. This is where things get scary for TyLoo. They had a great lead and they've started to use it. Lose it, rather. Nico's going to fall back into the site. Does have Snappy there. Next screen to try and take this peek. He does manage to clear the angle. 55 seconds. We know TyLoo likes to take these rounds slowly. They have 3 smokes, 2 incendiaries. They can clear out oranges. They can smoke off coffins. The only man they're going to have to worry about in this site when these smokes go down is It's going to be Nico, you'd imagine, but the smoke lands late for Coffins. DD's going to get caught off guard. Now Snappy's going to go pushing through that smoke, and this causes problems. Execute is able to find it. Molotov to delay the push on in, and Nico, all he's got to do now is buy time. Execute has a good read on the situation, but Nico peeks out, finds both frags along with Modi, and that is going to be a 12th round for Heroic. They're making the resurgence here. The last 3 rounds have gone their way consecutively, and now they've finally broken TyLoo's bank.
Yeah, although the T's, well, they're low on money. They've got the loss bonus building up behind them. Captain Mo's still going to go for a Catalyst rifle. Excurate will save up all his cash just to make sure that he has enough to buy an AWP in this next round. Double nade will be going down Banana, although there hasn't been much of a challenge there early in the rounds, other than from Captain Mo, who this time is not peeking over towards that side of the map. Double up setup will remain in this round. Now, in terms of how that could affect the round, considering there's so many pistols, if they can overwhelm one of these AWPs, pick one up, we know how good Excurate has been with this AWP. We've seen somebody pick one up as well, not to mention Captain Mo. But here we go, in the corner. Will they check for Modi? He's just going to be waiting, sat back. DD looking to round. Now, Yugi is the first point of contention. He's going to be there with the AWP. Misses the shot, but now Modi compounds. Sprays down 2. Captain Mo will trade, but they have to spin around, and that's where Yugi's given the opening. Buntet has retrieved that AK, is left completely blind, and a very good NT-Eco round coming out from Heroic. Only 1 kill comes in. The Catalyst rifle doesn't achieve much, and now TyLoo, they're going to use their 3rd pause of this map. Tactical in. Heroic knowing that they've now got them on the ropes. 4 rounds in a row for the CT side. 3 more needed, and they close out this first map. Their opponent's pick, and as said, I was not so worried for TyLoo on Inferno. We've already seen they're a good Inferno team. Peacemaker himself said their best map, their strongest map is Inferno, or their favorite at least. But going on to Train, that's where I think Heroic have this all day long, so definitely needed for the step up. Excure actually going to go for a glass cannon AWP just so he can get some extra utility in this round. T-side, the remaining players will have exactly what they want. Enough money to buy up pretty much everything. I think Captain Mo may be missing an HE. That's about it. But this is crunch time. Max loss bonus will be coming in the next round. Excure is going to be looking for that opener. And once again, the T's looking to try and push down towards Banana, but DD will manage to avoid the majority of those nades, only doing a small amount of damage, 17 HP lost. In the meantime, the T's are looking to try and take control, a much more passive hold in this round. Snappy sat right towards the back of the site with the AWP. In the meantime, you do have somebody waiting just in case there is going to be a rotation from the CT side through middle. Unlikely. But by the looks of things, they're just going to go back to basics. Hit towards this site, have a huge advantage versus these players in a 5 versus 2. And there's going to be no rotation, quickly at least, from the CT side.
Yeah, it all falls onto Snappy and Nico. Snappy's roasting in the fire and flames. He's going to go down, and now it is one man that stands between TyLoo and this bomb site. Nico trying to play for time. He's able to get one, but then the trade comes in. Bomb plant should be going down any second now. Yugi's actually been spotted out in the open. Damage being done onto him. 2 players here very quickly. And Modi, he's going back to A. He suspects that maybe this is all a fake. He's going to be so far away in this rotation to the point where it might even be best for Heroic to save. But then that frag there, that changes this round. Rubino's dropped Buntet. Modi's making his way around. He's finally joined up with the rest of the gang. Those nades find a decent bit of damage out to DD. Rubino, first man in, a missed shot from Excurate. He's going to miss it again, but somebody's there to pick up the pieces. Ooh. Yugi with the no-scope, but now things get interesting. Excurate in the 1v2. Flashback. Yugi is unstoppable. Heroic going to grab themselves a 14th round as Yugi locks it down.
That was very, very close, and the 2 shots hit by Yugi towards the end. It's interesting. In the rest of the round, he actually had a couple of openings onto Buntet doesn't connect, but when it mattered is when he picks up the shots. Now, bomb going down gives TyLoo enough money to buy straight back. They're coming right for the throat of Heroic. And the CT side, they've taken a bit of hit to their economy. They keep the double orbs, more importantly, which have been so successful for them so far. I wonder if TyLoo may decide to do something a little bit similar. There was definitely a weakness in that B site. That execute also was excellent. It has to be said. Their take of the site was superb. The nades falling down, completely isolating the AWPer in the corner, not allowing Nico to do anything as well as he was having to save himself. Either way, though, this is aggressive. Straight through the smoke they run. Yugi will take that first pick. He's ready and waiting, and the rest of the players are going to go pushing back towards this short spot. Rubino left in the pit. See if he can do anything here, and burning down there will be Yugi. Gets himself a second. Rubino there to support him as well. And now the remaining two players have been completely isolated. It's looking like it's going to be map point for Heroic after what was 5 rounds in a row. A 6th just about to come unless Buntet can pull off the impossible. It's not going to happen. Flawless from Heroic. And now all they need is one. I am getting a little bit of sort of deja vu to what we saw in the VP versus MVP game. They get themselves to the point where all they need is 2 rounds. And then 6 in a row come in for the Danes.
Yeah, 6 in a row. The buy's in for TyLoo. It's not looking great. 2 AKs, a Galil, Deagle, and a UMP. Nice bit of utility to go with it. But they've hit a brick wall. And one of the biggest problems has been Yugi, I think it's fair to say. He's really stepped up in these last couple of rounds. Along with I guess Snappy and Rubino would be the other two right now.
Well, I think Yugi was on like 9 kills and is now up to 20.
Monster
so
is top of the server almost.
yeah, he stepped up big.
So now, gonna make the way up banana. Nico goes down to Buntet. Snappy is able to trade. He's gonna fall back. TyLoo don't continue onwards, and they're gonna start to step away from B. Looks like they might try playing for the double fake here, sending Execute away. He's going to leave the bomb. They're lining up the smokes and flashes ready to go in, and they're either now going to rejoin Execute when they throw these in, or use him to sell the lurk. And as they step away, it looks like it will be the B fake. The question is, do Heroic take the bait? Right now, no one is moving. Yugi's going to have rotated out of position. He's onto Speedways. Now, there's only 2 players here. This is good timing for TyLoo. 35 seconds, but Modi is dropped 2 over in mid. Execute is able to trade 1 back. He does have the bomb, but Rubino in the pit. Trying to buy time. Execute just gets right on by. Waiting to see if somebody takes the peek. Almost into his crosshair, but not quite. Rubino, such a nuisance. A thorn in their side. That smoke's about to start to fade. Somebody's in the pit as well. Rubino just holding at the angle, waiting desperately for support from his teammates. This is the weirdest stalemate I think I've ever seen. Finally, Rubino's been able to pick it up. And now it's Execute. It all falls to him. The IGL for TyLoo, the latest edition. He's able to get 2. Snappy's holding it. E-Fuse smokes down. 1 second. He's going to get tagged to 5 HP, but he gets it done. Heroic. They win out map number 1. It took 7 rounds in a row, and they managed to do it in regulation, 16-14. Moving on to Train Tom. And after what we saw the other day, I'm not feeling entirely optimistic for TyLoo. Heroic, they looked good. Yugi stepped up massively. Rubino stepped up massively. And Snappy was good throughout.
Yeah, it was. It was really weird in a way, the way that game started with both Yugi and Nico just completely out of it. And it seemed like TyLoo had their number pretty much all the way through the map. But it comes down to crunch time when they need to close out the map. And it just didn't happen for them. They couldn't win a single round. They couldn't find a hole in that defense. Even when they get into a 4 versus 3 retake over on that B side, they're just unable to hold on. Shots being missed and maybe the pressure getting to them a little bit. And, well, it just had props have to be given to Heroic as well for their resilience to then win 7 rounds in a row. They even drop 1, and it's going to overtime, but they streak all of them together. We see, as you said, a strong performance, a strong resurgence coming out from Yugi on that AWP, and it definitely made a big difference. And I think Rubino in the pit, even though he wasn't necessarily the top fragger for the team, it was just annoying. The fact that he was so difficult to remove, he spent so much time just managing to keep himself alive. And yeah, it really was a great end to that CT half. And now is where things become difficult, because winning this game of Train is going to be so tough, because it is the strongest map for this side. It is the playground of Yugi. I think it's a great map for Nico as well, who was very quiet, and the fact that the other players were able to step up and help bring that over the line without him being there makes it even more worrying, because now, well, he just has the free roam to be a little bit more aggressive. And we actually saw that towards the end of the game. Things weren't working, so he starts like running into sites and the retakes with the UMP and actually having very impactful rounds, just because it didn't seem that anything else was working. I love seeing Peacemaker in the background just getting hyped up.
See, the other thing that I liked as well is that it felt like Heroic realized a bit that, like, it felt like maybe they were being a bit too easy to rotate. Like, the fakes that TyLoo were throwing in weren't particularly tricky to figure out. It was just like, wait till the time gets low, throw some smokes into B and then go A, or vice versa. And Heroic were very willing to rotate initially. The second they gave that up, especially in that last round there, admittedly they did eventually, but you saw how much longer, you know, they kept Yugi there over towards A.
This was so close.
Yeah, I cannot believe this. He tags in a fight. I'd be kicking myself. Execute almost pulls off one of the cleanest 1v3s. You know, he's tagged so low throughout the whole thing. He finishes top of the board. And let's not forget, he's doing all this while being brand new to the team and IGLing.
It was in Bentet IGL.
I thought they said in the interview that he's taken up the IGL role now.
I don't know. Maybe he has. But yeah, either way, even if it's just new boy on the block, that's still pretty impressive. The AWPA for the team doing very, very well indeed. And yeah, that was a ridiculously close game. And the one great thing about that board is it does say best and worst, but it was so close. Like, even an extra kill or two could have swung any of those TyLoo players straight up, and it could have been the same even with the rounds. Either way, now they have to go and try and break back on Train. Can TyLoo keep themselves in this matchup and maybe come back and win 2-1, or are they going to be going down to that 1 and 2 bracket?
LootBet, online esports betting. Dota, CSGO, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and many more. Bet on tournament matches or in-game events while viewing them live. Deposit using money, bitcoins, or even skins. Join LootBet now. Use the code you see here when you deposit and grab your bonus.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.